now we need to put that link in the...
I have it.
It's okay.
Share it. Okay, we're good. Yeah. So is that anything else? This opportunity. I was just saying this earlier. Yeah, exactly. What about unless you're looking for something specific. No. You got that on the calendar. At least you have it to see it.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's so wonderful to see all of you this morning. How did we sleep? Yeah? Wasn't that today's service last night just brilliant and beautiful? Thank you, Sophia, and thank you, Jen, and thank you, Darnell. I know Jen, I think, got on a plane this morning. But we are grateful to them for holding the space and helping us hold each other. This morning, as always, we will begin with our covenant and community agreements. Woohoo! Like yesterday, I will read we can all read the bolded parts, and I will read the parts that are not bolded. The Finding Our Way Home planning team invites all of us and caring for ourselves and one another to fully live into our covenants and community agreements. 1. COVID. We covenant to support the safety and good health of all participants by engaging in behavior that is consistent with the UUA's policies related to COVID-19, including doing our best to limit exposure to COVID prior to arrival and arriving on site fully vaccinated, by wearing masks indoors unless eating, and wearing masks off-site in areas where the potential for exposure is high. 2. Physical touch. We covenant to honor each of our bodies as sacred by making space for each of us to show up in our bodies as we want and need to, asking about bodily contact, including but not limited to hugs and shoulder touches, respecting and holding with care the boundaries that people set related to physical touch. 3. Alcohol and drugs. We covenant to ensure an environment of well-being and accountability by caring for one's own health and well-being, minimizing the impact of alcohol and drug use on others, preventing harm by knowing our own limits and honoring them, and seeking assistance and support for ourselves and one another. 4. Accessibility. We covenant to promote and maintain spaces that are accessible to all by designing space, programming, and materials that minimize barriers to usability as much as possible, using language that is not ableist or demeaning, responding with kindness and care to raised concerns about accessibility or ableism, connecting intentionally with virtual participants, and making sure they have what they need to be on retreat from home. 5, community care and accountability. We covenant to put care and accountability at the center of our interactions with one another by being open and respectful of people's willingness and ability to communicate their needs, leaning into more curiosity and compassion in difficult situations, holding with care complaints of harm done, listening without the need to fix, being willing to learn from our mistakes. 6, self-care. We covenant to care for ourselves well by putting rest and joy first, hallelujah, honoring what our bodies, minds, and spirits need, checking in with ourselves about our own capacity for connection and interaction, and being willing to ask for help or share the load when capacity is low. We have all signed to affirm our willingness in caring for ourselves and one another to fully live into our covenant and community agreements. Ashe. Sing with me as you know it. Shine on me, oh shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Shine on me, oh shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Lift me up. Lift me up. Oh, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up. Lift me up. Oh, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up. Hold me close. Hold me close. Oh, hold me close. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me close. Hold me close. Hold
welcome you to join me in inviting the directions, starting with the, actually we're going to start with the north, with the earth in the north. Spirits of the earth, rooted ones, that earth that makes our bodies, that is our blood and bones, we welcome and honor you. To the east. Spirits of the air that is the same air our ancestors breathed, and the air breathed by the very earth itself, we welcome you. To the south. Spirit of fire, igniting spirit that is part of our fast thoughts and the warmth that brings life to this earth, we welcome you. And to the west. Spirit of water that brings life, water that heals, water that carried us. We welcome you. Bless us with your presence. To the tree of the world, the roots below that connect us with the earth, we welcome you. To the branches of the tree of the world above that connects us with our spiritual self, we welcome you. So may it be Ashe, Asheo.
The microphone's not on.
Is it me?
No, it's not. Is there a light on?
No. Should there be?
Yeah.
Tech support. Oh, wait. Hello? Is the light now?
Testing.
You have the power. Voodoo, I heard that. Would you all stand up and sing Shine On Me one more time? Do we have that in our bodies? Shine on me, oh shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Please be seated. I have a reading for you, and then we're going to light our chalice. Before that reading, I want you to start thinking about your story. We are our stories. We tell our stories. We get to know each other by sharing our stories. This is called What Is Your Story? It was crafted by Barbara Holmes. Liturgy doesn't have to be formal or churchy language. What it is that I always encounter is this. If we're really going to be true to the human experience, we have to pray out of our own stories, our personal and trauma-filled stories, our blessings. And we're going to do this because basically we are story people. And we have stories. We have family stories. We have secrets. We have angst and anxiety. If we don't know our stories, we don't know ourselves. And so what I ask you is this. What is your story? What is the story you can celebrate? Your family story of triumph or lament or pain or loss. Despite those stories, can you remain defiantly rooted? no matter what. We are our stories. Viola, would you come up and light our chalice?
I was deeply grateful to the Reverend Linda Susan Ulrich, whose vision brought us this service this morning. Can we keep Linda Susan and Francisco in our prayers today? Linda Susan has been trying to travel since yesterday, and I hope is on a plane right now. Francisco, who also was struggling to get here, now has a very sick little one. He had a fever last night, 104, and they were in the emergency room. So please keep all of them in your prayers. But Linda Susan came to us and said, we need to talk about our ancestors today. And so as part of this service,
It is a battery. See, it's battery. It's not what you thought. Yeah. Yeah. Let's grab the other one.
Testing.
Testing. Yeah.
They're a little wonky right now. They're here. This is the second one. Okay. Testing. Yeah, let's do that. Sorry about that, y'all.
How's this? Look at that. As part of the service, we included a song that Linda Susan wrote, and she wrote this song for the people of Minneapolis. We might hear songs throughout our service from Minneapolis. I'm going to teach it to us so we can sing it together. Peace unto you, peace unto you. May nothing harm you. There's love all around you. Peace unto you, peace unto you. Let's try it together. Peace unto you, peace unto you. May nothing harm you. May nothing harm you. There's love all around you. Peace unto you, peace unto you. Hope unto you, hope unto you. May nothing harm you. There's love all around you. Hope unto you, hope unto you. Strength unto you, strength unto you. May nothing harm you. There's love all around you. Strength unto you, strength unto you. Rest unto you, rest unto you. May nothing harm you. There's love all around you. Rest unto you. Rest unto you. Courage. Courage unto you. Courage unto you. May nothing harm you. There's love all around you. Courage unto you. Courage unto you. Joy. Joy unto you. Joy unto you. May nothing harm you. There's love all around you. Joy unto you. Joy unto you. This service started with a question. How did our ancestors get through the terrible periods in history in which they lived? Because no matter how often the media or some of our siblings sling around the phrase unprecedented times, we know we've been on this part of the spiral before. Authoritarians, scapegoating, marginalized groups to consolidate power, parents being torn from their children for the enrichment of the ownership class, unjust laws targeting particular populations, wars starting as a distraction from political blowback. If only all of this were new. Today, we'll hear reflections from Reverends Micah Ma, Katie Romano Griffin, and Connie Simon as they share lessons they've learned from their ancestors. We'll all sing a different verse of Peace Unto You between each speaker as a musical response.
So whenever I go home, which I do at least once a year for Lunar New Year, if nothing else, I have breakfast or lunch with my father, and sometimes he tells me a story. Oftentimes, we'll have been eating in silence, and he'll just start telling a story out of nowhere. Maybe some of you have storytellers in your life like that, or maybe some of you are the storyteller like that. And sometimes the story is something about whatever happened the other day, and sometimes it's a random Taoist story, and sometimes it's a random historical tidbit, and sometimes it's a story about something he saw on YouTube. This one is a random historical story, where one day he started telling me about the rivers in China that flood repeatedly and periodically. I'll be quite honest with you, I don't know why he was telling me this. I also don't remember which river he was talking about. He may not have mentioned a name. In all likelihood, it was either the Fowh, which does flood catastrophically often, and at one point was flooded on purpose by the Chinese government in 1938 in order to repel an invading army, but at the expense of the lives of thousands of civilians. Or he might have been talking about the Changjiang, which is the longest river in the world, and which also floods a lot. In any case, that wasn't the point. The point was not which river is this, or even really a certain amount of historical accuracy. The point was that he was telling me about how these rivers flood, again, repeatedly and periodically. People know that it floods. It historically has flooded constantly. And afterwards, people rebuild. They come back. I mean, some of them don't come back. Some of them are swept away. There's immense property damage, but people rebuild again and again and again. And they don't complain. They don't move away. They just come back. And they rebuild. They accept that sometimes the river floods. And I don't know that what my father told me is 100% true, because I also know that humans are human, and that humans complain, and that sometimes people move away from something that threatens their lives and their livelihoods repeatedly. But he is also correct in that there are still people who live by the river, some of them living in the same way that their ancestors did years and years and generations ago, and they are still there. And here's something that I also know that my father did not bring up, but which I learned in the course of researching this reflection, which is that oftentimes rivers also change course. And these rivers have changed course also, many times during history. Was that why my father told me this story? I don't know, probably not. But that's something else that I can take away too, that oftentimes we can learn lessons from the people in our lives and our ancestors that they may not have intended for us, but that we learn from nonetheless. Thank you.
Strength. Strength unto you. Strength unto you. May nothing harm you. There's love all around you. Strength unto you. Strength unto you.
There isn't much that paused the activity in my grandparents' home, but the things that did were the news, and back then it was only on a couple of times a day on the black and white TV, and the other was telenovelas. Even the card playing, and the cafecito sipping, and the mate drinking, and the dancing would stop for these things. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. My grandfather lived by this. He had a major distrust of the government, but his faith was always in the people. And I didn't really understand all of it. I didn't understand his stories. I didn't understand the fears my family held of us disappearing. I didn't understand why we lived on what is truly mutual aid as a family. I didn't really understand it until I returned to Buenos Aires and began some healing with loved ones and with community there. And I learned that my family's distrust of the government is rooted in more than a century of U.S. interference in our government. I learned that it is rooted in the U.S. funding despots that disappeared revolutionaries from our streets. Las Madres de los Desaparecidos gather every week still in Plaza de Mayo in front of the Casa Rosada, the president's house, calling for the truth about where our family members are. But my grandfather's belief in the holiness of the power of the people is rooted in my bones, and I see it when I walk the streets of Buenos Aires, when people break into song. Sometimes songs of resistance, sometimes Carlos Gardel, songs of tango and connection. And I experience, just as I did in my childhood, the fuel for the revolution, the faith in the people living and dancing, often literally with joy that could erupt at any moment. And the protests ever present in Buenos Aires, including now as the U.S. has funded the removal of all of our labor protections, all of them, and continues to burn Patagonia to make way for rich people not of Argentina to have homes. As this happens, there is still dancing. I watched a video one of my cousins sent me where there was a protest and the water cannons were being used, and nonchalantly someone is just walking through calmly. The barricades are moving into place and someone is dancing off to the side. The spirit of community causing movement and joy to erupt amidst the struggle. These are not unprecedented times. Pero el pueblo unido jamás será vencido. The people united will never be defeated. And our joy cannot be contained.
Amen.
Joy.
I feel like the grandma not getting ready to tell the story. Because I am. Can y'all hear me? Okay. I wrote this down because I knew I couldn't just say it without breaking into tears. And because I'm going to give it to my great niece. Last October, I stood on a dirt road in Kershaw, South Carolina, looking out at land that used to be part of the Clyburn plantation. I had driven hours to get there, and when I stepped out of the car and felt the red South Carolina clay under my feet, I wasn't prepared for what happened. Something moved through me, something old. My great-great-grandfather Weary was enslaved on that land. He was 20 years old when the Civil War began. He followed his enslaver's son Frank into the Confederacy as his personal servant, moving from battle to battle for 4 years. When Lee surrendered at Appomattox, the two of them, Frank and Grandpa Weary, walked back to Kershaw together. And Weary stayed. He took the Clyburn name, raised a family, and spent the rest of his life connected to the Confederacy that had kept him in chains. He earned a Confederate pension. Yeah, there were Negro Confederate pensions, and he had one. When he died in 1930, he was buried wrapped in Confederate gray. I only know this story because his daughter died maybe 10 years ago, and she was honored by Governor Nikki Haley as a true daughter of the Confederacy. So you can imagine my relationship with Grandpa Weary is complicated. I don't fully understand his choices when he was able to make choices, and I don't know if I ever will. But standing on that land, none of that complexity mattered for a moment. What I felt was him. His presence, his endurance, and the sheer fact of his survival. He had walked that same red clay. He'd looked up at that same wide South Carolina sky. He had lived and breathed and suffered and somehow persisted in that place. And because he did, I exist. And I cried. and a mic crime now. Not far from that plantation is the site of the Battle of Solagair Island, fought on July 16, 1863 in South Carolina. That's where my great-great-uncle Albert Walls died. Uncle Albert was a free man from Pennsylvania. He and 21 other black men from the small town of Hinsonville, Pennsylvania, chose to enlist in the U.S. colored troops. They were in the 54th Massachusetts, the regiment that you might know from the film Glory. The 2nd African American regiment organized after the Emancipation Proclamation. He didn't have to fight. He didn't have to go, but he chose to go. A letter from a surviving comrade said that Albert Walls remained at his post and fought until killed or taken prisoner. His body was never recovered. He gave his life on South Carolina soil, fighting for the freedom of people he would never meet, fighting for my grandpa Weary. And when I was near that battlefield in October, I knelt down and I put my hands in the earth, and I felt him too. Two ancestors, two sides of the same war, both of them bound to the same red southern soil. Grandpa Weary, who survived bondage but never seemed to shake its grip. And Uncle Albert, who walked freely into danger because he believed that freedom was worth dying for. One man I don't fully understand, one man I aspire to, and both of them mine. We talk about ancestors in our tradition. We invoke the long arc of those who came before, but for me, and for many of us in this room, this is not abstract. This is personal. This is particular. This is red clay on your hands on a Tuesday afternoon in October. I drew something from that land. I don't have a precise theological word for it, but it felt like courage. It felt like resilience. It felt like being held by something bigger than me, by the love and the struggle and the sheer survival of those who carried me here. Grandpa Weary endured things I can't even imagine, in ways that I don't understand, and in ways that I think I don't want to know. Uncle Albert chose a different path, one of resistance and sacrifice. Neither one of them handed me an easy lesson, but together, they handed me something that I carry every time I stand in the pulpit, every time I do the hard thing, every time I refuse to leave. They handed me myself. I believe that land holds memory. I believe that the soil absorbs what we pour into it, our labor, our grief, our love, our blood. And I believe that when you stand on sacred ground, your ancestors will find you. They found me in Kershaw, South Carolina. In this work, in the ministry we all share, in the challenges we face as religious professionals of color, I return to that red clay. I return to Grandpa Weary, who kept me going even when I don't know how or why. I return to Uncle Albert, whose courage was chosen even when he had every reason not to do it. And I am not alone, and neither are you. May we find our ancestors waiting for us in the hard places. May we feel the ground hold us when we are tired. And may we know, bone deep, may we know, bone deep, that the soil from which we come is sacred. Yes. Amen.
Courage. Courage unto you. Courage unto you.
short story I'm going to tell you, and then we're going to move into a ritual place. In February, after Trump had been sworn in and taken over the White House, we had a Sunday where the government workers in my congregation were distraught. USAID had been under the thumb of Elon Musk and was disappeared. People were losing their jobs. Children were trapped overseas. And we had two meetings going on. Upstairs in the boardroom was the meeting for displaced federal workers. That room was full of all white folks, gnashing their teeth. What are we gonna do? The sky is falling. Doing all the things that we do in a good meeting. Big pieces of paper went up on the walls. Let's put our phone numbers down. Let's put our email addresses. Let's make ourselves into pods. We're gonna solve this problem. Downstairs in the library, where there are more comfortable chairs than a boardroom, where there is a long wooden table that you can fill with the bounty of your own kitchens, the BIPOC group was meeting to discuss the same thing. I went from the room upstairs with the gnashing of the teeth and the pieces of paper on the wall and the proper meeting etiquette, and walked into a room that smelled like gumbo downstairs, that had cornbread on the table, that was rich in aroma and story. They sat in a circle with paper plates on their knees, laughing, shedding black and brown joy onto each other. And there was a young woman in that circle who probably was in her early 30s. And along with the other people in that circle, what she was saying out loud was this too shall pass. We have been here before. Resilience is in my bones. This too shall pass. We are our stories. The way we share them matters. Who we tell them to matters. The gift that Connie and Katie brought to us right now. Oh, and Micah telling us about their grandfathers, reminding us that this too shall pass, and that we are made of stern, strong stuff. Those stories, those three stories, and the one I just told you are not the only stories in this room. You all have a story from an ancestor, from a family member, from a friend, from someone who has touched you and made you realize you are resilient. What we want to do in this ritual piece this morning is capture some of those stories. So we're going to pass out supplies, index cards, writing tools, if they're not already on your tables. We're going to take 4 or 5 minutes with music in the background, breathing, remembering, and bringing our stories onto paper that we can save. The stories will be shared amongst our tribe, including those of you who are online. We are our stories. Let's take a few minutes and capture some of those stories. As we begin this process, I invite you all to speak the name of ancestors into the room so they can join us. Fred Thomas. Loretta Thomas.
unto you. May nothing harm you. There's love all around you. Hope unto you. Hope unto you. Ashe. The invitation, I believe, is to leave your lessons on the table. We will pick them up, and they will be displayed in our space so that we can learn. We can all learn from one another's ancestors. I believe we are going to extinguish our chalice with words from our three reflecting folks. But this mic actually doesn't go as far as I would like for it to go. Are you all able to come here?
I need to lean on somebody.
Yesterday, our distant ancestors gathered round a flame to share their stories and find comfort.
Tomorrow, our descendants will gather round a flame, talking of a life we will never know.
But today, it was we who gathered here, around this flame, seeking, believing, and being together.
We give thanks and gratitude and blessings to the spirits who are with us. Thank you for blessing us. May we be a blessing to each other and to all our communities around us. So may it be Asheo.
I've got the patience to inhale, exhale. I've got the energy to sing. I've got the strength to keep on going, so I can rise again, so I can rise again. I've got the patience to inhale, exhale. I've got the energy to sing. I've got the strength to keep on going, so I can rise again, so I can rise again. I've got the patience to inhale, exhale. I've got the energy to sing. I've got the strength to keep on going, so I can rise again, 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 so I can rise again.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you all so much. Can we just give them some more love? All the folks who reflected today. In particular, I just want to give thanks to Javon and Jermaine who stepped in to do music for us, and also Tyrone, who also stepped in to play for us. Thank you all so much for your ministries and for your gifts. They're deeply appreciated this morning. I just wanted to go over a couple of things. As we know, gosh, it is Wednesday. The day is moving along. We have, just so folks know what is on the schedule, we have an informal chat with our president today at 10:30. That is happening, I believe, in this room. So folks can have just a little bit of a break to gather yourselves. There's lunch from 12 to 1, and I believe the seminarians luncheon is happening today. So if you're in seminary and you want to spend some time with Sophia and also Derek Jackson, who I believe is here, they are going to be meeting in the cafeteria. Is that right, Michael? Michael, is that right, that seminarians?
Seminarians luncheon during lunchtime.
Yes.
So we'll have a table designated for that.
So there'll be a table in that dining hall area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
And I have to verify the room for the newcomers orientation.
Great.
Oh no, it'll be newcomers orientation will be.
Yeah. The newcomers orientation is in this room from 1 to 2. And then from 2 to 4:30, there's afternoon joy happening throughout the space. So I know we have, I think there is a list that has the rooms that they are all in. So make sure you take a look at those so you know where all of that is happening today. I believe Carrie has an announcement he wants to make.
Hello friends, Carrie McDonald, they and them. I'm the UUA's Executive Vice President, and I just wanted to say a special welcome to one of our first-time participants this morning, who is Vita Eng, who is the Executive Director of the Canadian Unitarian Council. And I think of Vita as my counterpart, and we have been good conspirators over the years, and so she is finishing up her tenure as the CUC's executive director, but I really encourage you to seek her out and say hello and ensure Vita gets a warm welcome. Thank you.
And how long has that tenure been?
11, 12 years?
14.
14 years as executive director of the Canadian Council. We're so glad you're here, Vita.
All right, everyone, let's take a short break. If you are wanting to come back to the informal chat, we'll be back in here at 10:30.
Last time I was calm. I talked to you, I was like, I gotta
The most diverse city I've ever lived in. But, you know, on a given Sunday, like, I'm the black crowd, right? I'm never so it's really so
That is a fabulous show. Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Very good. Yeah. New York. Yeah. Wasn't bad. There's something wrong with that.
She's like, nope. That was a full note, that whole body note. How are you this morning? I wanted to get outside.
But you know, there's something comfort, and you got to be in that space. You want to come close to your face. Wow.
Would you even have a Sharpie?
I usually do.
Do you? Yeah, I saw about a whole half. Okay. I thought I did. You know what though? The fact that you possibly had it is very I wrote on the one in the church, but I never wrote my name on my own personal admission. And Katie already told me she was going to hate it.
Kelly's always inside a man. So it's very important. We have a very supportive group. How's everybody doing today? I know, right? All week I'm like, I'm so sorry. They don't come to church anymore.
just sounds yeah. Yeah. I'm standing there like, I feel like everybody should have a kid now. This morning I was like, good energy to go into. So, you know, working with the lady, she was trying to get yes, yes. No, there was no Yes, I'm gonna keep an eye on her while her mom's. She's on a mission. Independent young black woman.
I still have to see you. Never
Wanna sip?
Remember when we first met at the...
It's hot chocolate.
The intersection? You both and I have the same thoughts about everything.
Even she's like, hold on.
That was like 2020, 2019, I think.
I'm gonna be on a roll.
That is delicious, actually.
That baby was, that's the most wholesome baby I've seen in a while.
Oh, I heard. I was like passed out in the bed. I ate every pretended to become somebody and I mean, to yourself. You need
Why she got name tag? Look.
I was in yeah.
me by, she wouldn't let me come by myself. She won't let me come by myself.
There is over there for the sound. Can you help me?
Good morning, everyone. We are going to get started in just a moment. I'm going to invite folks back to their seats. Hey, Michael. Are we good? Yeah. Okay. Good morning, good morning. Just again, extending gratitude to all the folks who helped lead worship this morning. Thank you again. It was really beautiful. Really beautiful. It is now time for us to sit down and have an informal chat with our president, the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt. She is hugging folks. But now that she's done, I'm gonna hand the mic over to her. Oh, look at that, another one.
Good morning, loves. Good morning, good morning. I want to start, before we really start, I want to tell you why we still have lit candles up here. Do you recognize these from Tuesday last night? Yeah. Actually, can I just really quickly for a second, I know they're not even in the room, but I really want to thank Darnell and Jen Heyman and brother Zachary, who I think moved every piece of furniture in that room so we could be kind of in the round together. Did it help your spirits to start with song? Yeah. It helped mine too. So I have this thing, I don't like putting out other people's prayers. I just don't. So these are the candles that were lit around the chalice last night. I truly believed. I also need to thank Chloe, who helped me set up the whole Megillah, and who walked with me with a glowing altar cloth, because all the candles were still, this is what's beautiful about electronic candles, they were all still lit. So there I am walking down the hallway with a glowing altar cloth. But so these are the candles that were lit last night. I did not expect them to still be lit this morning. So if we can just let them be lit until the batteries run out. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, loves, you'll notice this was called an informal chat with the president. We really mean an informal chat with me and UUA leaders. We have been pretty good in recent years about pulling people up and back as needed. This is not only, I think, part of our practice, right, is by POC community, but we're not just doing it here. I am so glad you made it in. It's good to see you. It's not just practice in our community. This is also trying to follow the recommendations of the Commission on Institutional Change, right? That writing about the role of the president of the UUA is talking about shared leadership, less of one single charismatic leader. That is still how our system is set up, but we really are trying to give you access to other officers of the UUA, to the board of the UUA, to people who are in leadership, in service in the faith, because we really do hold the faith collectively together, and that includes all of you. The word informal is also really intentional. I realize I'm sitting in front of the room in a microphone, you're all looking at me, which does not feel informal. But I think some of the hope, especially while I am in this role, is to have us be able to just talk more, to have me not come with a super formal presentation for you. What I think of in, I'm sorry I do this, like back in the day, when finding our way home was smaller, we often had a UUA president with us. We didn't even in the early first years have a time like this. It's like the president was wandering the halls with everyone else, and that familial, communal connection and access was part of the point. And then we got bigger, right? And so what you do when you get bigger is you try to make a little bit more formal space. But really, part of why I never miss this retreat is, one, I think it is life-saving. That has nothing to do with me being the president of the UUA. But also is I think you deserve time with me, and it doesn't always have to be structured like this. So please hear this as an invitation to think about, we did ask you in the survey what you wanted to do in terms of time with me. And most of it, actually, bless all of you who said, can she please rest? I actually felt very cared for by those responses. But so just, can we keep thinking about as a community, what it means for the person in my role to be here, and we have no idea who my successor will be. So it's also worth thinking about, how do we want to engage with officers of the UUA who may or may not be by POC in the future? Does that make sense? Oh. Say again?
So that's a question.
That is the question. Yes, that's a question. That's right. That's right. Okay, a couple of things before we just engage in open conversation. One is, some of you probably know that at Institute, which was the UU Ministers Association continuing education offering that beautifully this year really fully invited Laredo membership to participate, which is beautiful. I hope that continues. This gathering also started with ministers only, then seminarians, and it was one religious educator. I don't even remember who it was, but bless that person for showing up, even though that was ridiculous. And then it was 2 musicians were allowed to come, and now this is us, which is beautiful. So I actually have some faith in how we expand these spaces. Anyway, at Institute, I was supposed to give a State of the Association address. I believe I was in Minneapolis with the people instead. And thank you to Nicole and to Jennifer Nordstrom and to other people who did, and just with very little notice, non-compliance training, which was also really important. The point is that doing a State of the Association was intentional, wanting to have a real update. What is the work that the UUA is doing, particularly in moments like this? And how do we share that information widely? The goal was to do it at Institute first and then to disseminate it through the UU ecosystem. So I recorded a State of the Association instead. I had this tiny hope that it might be ready in time to preview it with all of you. That is just not the case. So in about 2 weeks, the State of the Association will be live. There will be like a premiere. You can join the webinar that will have some of the UUA officers doing some Q&A afterwards. But you are in 2 weeks going to get a 35-minute, very dense, lots of information update in my voice. I am super happy to answer any questions you're bringing with you today. And I want to suggest that focusing on issues that are particular to this community might be a better use of our time, because you're literally about to get a beautifully produced with images and data and all kind of stuff update. Literally like March 31st, I think, is the release date. Does that make sense? You can still ask me whatever questions on your spirit. I will do my best. And there's staff in the room. You notice there's another chair, because I actually don't know everything. I know we have this myth that the president of the UUA, in their perimenopausal brain, can remember everything. It's just not true. What did you say? Fake news. Fake news. Thank you, Karen. So before we shift into that, I actually do want to be real about who we are and what this moment is. I believe, beloveds, I believe in multiple truths. This comes from my lived experience, but also comes from my scholarship. It comes from wisdom, right, of our ancestors, that things that can mean completely different things are often true at the same time. And one of the things that I think is resilience that comes out of our many cultures and backgrounds is an ability to hold multiple truths without panicking about it. To me, and that's more than we survived when we shouldn't, when it wasn't guaranteed. We can actually hold more than one truth at a time. This is part of what resilience means to me. And, Nancy McDonald Ladd, our now vice president, bless her, for communications and development, said to me, I need to remind you that the UUA and the ecosystem of Unitarian Universalism has been in crisis for at least a decade. Yeah. Right? It doesn't mean that we haven't done good things, multiple truths. It doesn't mean that there haven't been huge successes, real changes, palpable differences, a real impact in the world. It does mean that we went from a mess that we witnessed beginning here in 2017, right? It's 2026. Through into a pandemic that we're still in. Through quarantine. Trump 1 was in that mess. Into Trump 2. And here we are. And so talking about what has been asked of our religious professionals to be the holders of stress, strain, violence, anxiety, and the unknown for a decade. I know you're resilient. My God, we are no longer a room of 15. I know you're resilient. I know you are powerful. I know you are called, or you would not be here. And I also know that secondary trauma is real, that ancestral wisdom is real, that many of us carry warning signs in our bodies. I don't want to get into my whole story, but both sides of my family come from countries that were run by US-trained dictators. I'm talking about Chile and Panama. And so my ancestors have been screaming since 2016. This is not news for many of us. It's not just that we've been there before. It's like we carry what it took to survive. We carry the sacrifices that were made so our children would be here, so that we eventually down the line would be here. And I just want to acknowledge that in a Unitarian Universalist ecosystem, where the strain of our congregations, our communities, and our beloveds gets pushed through our religious professionals as far as it will go, we are both brilliant, resilient, bountiful, and blessed, and we are tired, weary, fearful, and harmed. And both things can be true at the same time. It doesn't mean we're not dancing. We're dancing because of those things. Our joy is louder because of those things, because every time I get to see your faces, some part of me heals. That doesn't change the reality of the situations we're in, right? And so I want to always start with gratitude for what you hold, and also a request for grace for your UUA staff. Stress and anxiety rises, okay? It rises. So my request, and it's not about any of you, please do not take this personally. My request is that you treat the staff of the UUA the way you wish the members of your congregations and communities treated you. Because can I just tell the truth in this room? When we are tired and anxious and harmed and under attack in our own places, we transfer that to the staff that serves us. I think I might be the only person who's like allowed to say that without being in really, really big trouble, so I say it in rooms like this. Y'all are not who I'm looking to call out in Unitarian Universalism, but I think you are the ones who might most understand how we are all trying to hold this faith together. Is that fair to say? Yeah. And then can we also hold each other with some grace? Yeah. I said this in Minneapolis. You know, I'm sorry, I'm a former professor. I actually really love giving homework. I love giving homework. It gives me joy. Okay, invitations. And here's the thing. I like assigning homework, but I don't like testing you to see if you've done it. No, I don't believe in that. It's like, here's a thing that could be good for your soul and your knowledge. And I trust you to be a whole adult. Here's my request. I want you to think of two colleagues. One who just could use some support. Could you reach out to that person, maybe once a month for a couple months? And then I want you to think of a colleague who clearly needs nothing because they are so strong and grounded. Because that's a lie. And I would ask you to do the same with that person. Can we each just check up on two people, like with love? I know a lot of you are doing this already. I know you are, but can we just hold that possibility? The only way through is together. I am so certain. And the clarity that I'm seeing in Unitarian Universalism right now, we're not having to convince our people what their values are. It doesn't mean they show up the way we want them to. It doesn't mean we show up the way we want to on a given day. We are all human. But the question of whether we should show up or whether it matters. Who was the politician in Texas who just won an election by one vote? No. One. What? It was. Thank you. It was Florida. Y'all. And so the clarity is something that gives me hope that I think we can work with. One of the questions that came live around the State of the Association was, what is the state of, what are you seeing in Unitarian Universalism? I am seeing people showing up. I am seeing people feeling clear. I am seeing people taking risks for each other. I am seeing people putting their bodies on the line for members of their communities they may never know. I'm seeing people living their faith. This is the thing that gets me up in the morning, because like you, I'm tired, right? And that there is so much that we are doing at your UUA that we should talk about, and that you will hear recorded in 2 weeks, that are about trying to resource you better, trying to resource our congregations better, trying to take the feedback you are sending us, not just through Meet the Moment, though that is a beautiful container, but things you've been telling us for the last decade. We are like doing the delayed maintenance of what we need to keep one another whole and do the work of this faith. This is what I am witnessing. And I hope that you are witnessing pieces of it too, even as I know there are things that you need that we haven't gotten to. One last big thing. Is Connie sounding good? Great. Not quite yet, but good. Okay. You will notice as we're talking that there are a lot of pieces of work that we're doing at the UUA where we are doing the work more slowly in order to take the time to really listen to constituents and stakeholders. This is not a new approach. This is an old approach. It's an old approach. What's important about that is it lets us update our systems, hopefully in ways that hold us longer than just a few years. But it also takes longer. And I want you to hear me say out loud, and I don't like saying this out loud, I know it is often this community and our trans community, our people with disabilities, our more vulnerable communities who pay the price of it being slower. I want you to know that I know. And I don't think it's okay. But we also fall through the cracks when the system doesn't even slow down long enough to bother to ask us what our truths are. And so I hold those multiple truths in tension. I can't fix it. I can't try to help us be accountable to all of you as we do this badly needed, often long delayed work. And it's fair to ask us questions about the costs of the ways that we're doing things. Does that make sense? Okay, one of the pieces that we're really working on is ministerial search and settlement. We know that there has been inequity in these systems, harm in these systems, if only need for updating. If it's only bureaucratic mess alone, there is still need for updating in these systems. That doesn't mean, those of you who've been around long enough to know, I would invite you to remember 30 years ago, search and settlement. There have been updates. It is yards better than it was. That doesn't mean it's where we need it to be, right? So we currently have active, bless them, a transitions renewal task force. They're doing a whole pile of work to hear your stories, make recommendations about changes, make recommendations about reparations. But they need to hear from you. They need to hear from you. So I want to invite one of our co-chairs. That task force is chaired by the Reverends Roger Birchhausen and the Reverend Connie Simon. And Connie wants to talk to you just a little bit about what the hopes from that task force are for all of us. And I want you to know that, we chose the members of that task force with recommendations from all of our religious professional groups. But the one common denominator for every single person on that task force, and some of them are in this room, is that they have the intestinal fortitude to hold the UUA accountable. This is not a side group, the way we've done others, like the commission worked in relationship, but worked as a separate body. These task forces are working with staff members to make those decisions together. Does this make sense? Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Connie, will you come? There's a mic on this chair right here.
Hey, y'all. So, yeah, when you get a phone call in the summertime that says, will you do something for me and for our faith? That first reaction is, uh-oh. And I said, yes, Sophia, I will do this. Because I know our settlement process needs some help. I know it does. I remember being in Mark Morrison Reed's class and hearing the stories about the black ministers who wanted to be in our faith and were told, no, we can't settle you. Or they get there and then they can't stay. And I thought that would be over with. And then when I went into search for the first time, I realized in 2018, it wasn't over. And it's not in 2026. So our task force of 8 people, as Sophia mentioned, Reverend Roger Birchhausen from Unity Temple in Chicago is my co-chair. Katie Romano Griffin is also on the task force. Katie is here somewhere, along with Latifah Griffin, Christy Lunsford, Sherry Kwan, Cheryl M. Walker, Krista Taves, Elizabeth Stevens, and I think I got everybody. We did have Rebecca Savage on our team as well, and yeah, I know, she says sorry. But she's moved to a different position, so the 8 of us right now, and 7 of us right now, we are collecting stories. We have been sending out a QR code. It is a confidential survey, and when I mean confidential, we don't know who's doing it. And it asks you, have you been through the search process? Either as a congregant, a search team member, because we want to hear from congregations too. Minister, however you've been through it, and tell us what that experience was like. And then we give you space at the end to tell us what needs to be different. And I really want people to tell me what could be different. If you could reimagine this, what would it be? And we have already started talking about what some of those things could be to make it more accessible, because I know we're all looking at how many full-time positions are out there, the geographic limitations on them, how many more are contract. What do we do and how do we honor religious educators? How do we do that search? There's so many questions, and we want to hear your thoughts. So I have the QR code. Please fill out the survey. At the end of the survey, there is a part that says, do you want to talk to somebody and share your story? That somebody, all the people who say yes, you need to put your name in a way to contact you, because when I say it's confidential, y'all, I mean it's confidential. So we have had people filling this thing out saying, I want to talk to somebody, and we say, if you want to talk to somebody, you got to tell us who you are. That's how seriously we took the confidentiality, because we know this is people's careers, and you don't want the stuff getting out there. So if you want to talk, you got to tell us. And if you say, yes, I want to talk to somebody, it comes to me. And then I will look at who the people are and say, okay, I know this person, or based on this person's particular identity or the story they're telling, it might be best if this person spoke to them. So don't worry if you are, a Black queer minister who got hurt by, I don't know, a congregation or the search process, and you were in the West, and you're like, I don't want to talk to anybody who doesn't understand my identity. I'm not going to put you with somebody that would be like that. While Katie and I are here, if you want to talk to us, you can talk to us. We will be glad to go find a quiet space. We'll take some notes, because we have to know what it is you want us to change. We're listening to stories through June, and then we're going to get together with big pieces of paper and map out what we think we want to change, what our recommendations are. We'll talk with the transitions office staff. We have been in touch with Congregational Life. We're talking to everybody we can talk to. We'll come up with a recommendation, give it back to Sophia in the fall. We'll rework anything that needs to be reworked. And the goal is that we can implement some of these changes for searches that will happen for fall of 2027. So this is the time. Please, 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 if there's anything you want to tell me about the settlement process, this is the time. Come and find me. I'm wearing a chaplain's band, but find me.
Thank you, Connie. Can we thank our people who are taking this? Another quick plug, I know you've heard that we're also doing a similar process for widening the pathway. This is around ministerial credentialing and formation. Please, if you are a seminarian that has it in you, I mean literally that you have the spoons for lunch today to come talk to Derek and I. Some of that is just similar. This is just too good of an opportunity to be able to talk to some of you. I promise nothing you say today will go in like a file about you. This is that we are on the verge of creating the next task force, which is around ministerial formation and credentialing. And we want to do that and help that team kick off in the best ways possible. Does that make sense? This is what I mean when I'm saying stakeholder driven, in relationship. Yes, it's slower, but really trying to do the work that will hold us for a while. And we wanted to get one task force up and running before the next task force is up and running. I want to say, Rebecca Savage, yes, I said sorry, she's coming in on April 6th, is our new Director of Ministry and Faith Development. Okay. Before we go into open Q&A, I told you that I recorded the State of the Association, and I would like to tell you one thing about it and read you a small part of it. Is that okay? Do you have it in you to hear read words this morning? Okay. It's just because every single time we meet, you ask me about the needs of religious educators and what we're doing about religious education. So I thought rather than wait for one of you to ask me, I would just start there, and then we can go into a Q&A, yeah? So I want to let you know, if you don't already know, that Loretta, our religious professional group for religious educators, lifespan, faith development folk, asked us very concretely and specifically to collect a new and expanded type of data about what is happening to our religious educators, to our religious education programs, the needs of families and ministries, etc. The standard congregational life survey that we take every year to know about membership and programs and all of those things has some RE questions on it, but not enough. We talked about maybe just expanding that survey But we have heard loud and clear from y'all that it changing every single year is exhausting. We get it. There's going to be a completely separate survey around religious education and family ministry, okay? Here's a thing we also know. Often those surveys are filled out by an overworked administrator who doesn't necessarily actually know all the data. There's a lot of guesswork in there. We are trying to be more and more data-driven, more and more based on what your actual experiences are, actual needs are, because the stories that are the loudest aren't always the most common, right, in the UU ecosystem. And so anything you can do, whether you are the administrator or you are in another role, that can be helpful to help us get more accurate data, particularly around religious education. Please, if you can give it some time, because it will inform the kind of work that they do in LFE and Lifespan Faith Engagement, the kind of work that we are holding together, and it will for the long haul. So please, I want to ask for your help with that. Okay, let me read you a short excerpt from the State of the Association, and then we can open for Q&A. Yeah? All right. The vision for the future of youth and emerging adult ministry is just beginning to become clearer, knowing that we need to strengthen the containers for this ministry on the congregational and local level in order to ground ourselves for more strategic thinking about the future. While much remains in transition, and this is really true, I want to lift several recent successes in this area, all centered in the knowledge that spiritual development is the work of the whole church. With participation from, I thought this was the survey, it is not. With participation from leaders in Laredo and beyond, we are working on a new Lifespan and whole church faith development curricula series that you can find out more about at General Assembly and on the Just Breathe Lifespan Development podcast. Do y'all listen to that podcast? Do you know about the podcast? So let me tell you again, it's the Just Breathe Lifespan Faith Development podcast, whose audience continues to grow. I'm also grateful that the Mosaic Lifespan Anti-Racism curriculum is live, and that is in large part Muddy Soul's good work. I know Muddy's in this room, she was. Okay, well, thank her when you see her. This long-term project, created in response to the Commission on Institutional Changes report, has resources for various age groups, K through adult, that are relevant to the aims of faith development for each, as well as to our growing understanding of best practices and justice-centered language that arise out of BIPOC movements to decolonize and decenter whiteness. Deeper Joy. Deeper Joy brings essential components of UU youth culture to all kinds of community builders in our congregations and beyond. Through the Deeper Joy framework, we are building leadership and community development through embodied practices, activities, and conversations that engage faith development across the whole ecosystem of congregational life. The Journeys of Deeper Joy role-playing game curriculum. Have you heard about this? Y'all. I know members of the UUA staff have played this RPG. It is designed for people who do not know how to play an RPG. It is designed to be multi-generational and to be used at all levels in your congregation. I am, you can maybe tell, super excited about this. I really commend it to you. The Journeys of Deeper Joy role-playing game curriculum, which has gotten such wonderful reception, equips congregations to playfully build multi-generational communities centered in love. And of course, we remain proud of the long-term impact of OWL. Our OWL program is its 25th anniversary of OWL. And so more than anything else, nothing but profound gratitude for the incredibly hard work of our Lifespan Faith Engagement team. I know that Now is here, Shannon is here. We have other folks on staff who are doing this good work. So if you see them, thank you for that work, and thank you for the input you have given us in recent years that has led to a lot of these good, ongoing, many things that I'm not telling you about yet, offerings. All right, thank you for listening to a read statement. I would love us to just have some conversation. So you can ask me questions, but I'm also really open to hearing what is most on your spirit right now in terms of your ministries, your work in our congregations and communities. What is valuable for us to hear in this Finding Our Way Home community about what is needed and how we are doing? I see Vi first. If it's short, I'll repeat it, and if it's not short, if you can get to the mic, I would ask you to do that.
I don't know where the mic is, but
it's right here.
Make me walk.
No, or I can repeat it.
So my question, you just named a whole lot of things.
Sure did.
I have not heard of any of them.
Yes.
So my question is, how is this stuff getting pushed out? And is there a way for it to get pushed out in a way that, if it is being pushed out, that more of us are made aware of it?
So the very good question is, you just named a whole bunch of things, none of which I've heard of. And the question is, how is this getting pushed out? If it is getting pushed out, I see you. If it is getting pushed out, how do we push it out in ways that more people are actually seeing it? I want to tell you a little thing first, and I promise I'm not dodging your question. One of our Meet the Moment cohorts was about the needs of congregational leadership and congregational life. It was run by the Reverend Meg Foley, and she wrote us this beautiful executive report before her retirement. And what happened in that group of leaders is that they kept raising, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. And in every single instance, that thing already existed or was like close to completion. And so the recommendations of that group were not the things that we need. They were, you need to communicate differently the resources that you are making for us, available for us, right? And they said, we don't necessarily need a whole bunch of new things. We need you to make it easier for us to find them. So some of the recommendations that really landed in my spirit, we just need you to communicate more. However, that more needs to include here are the top 3 things you should know about X. Here is a focused topic thing on Y, although we have those, on Y. Are you serving as a youth leader? Here are the 5 most important things for you to know. I know that the UUA has 28 newsletters, plus the UU World, plus the website, plus social media. I know it's a full-time job to monitor all those things because I tried to. Okay? So I also know when I was in seminary, back in 1883, they told us that we needed... Sorry, that's my favorite year. They told us that we needed to find 7 unique ways, 7 completely different communication methods to have people understand that a thing was happening. Now researchers say that it's 11. So I promise you, all of these things are being communicated. The podcast, for example, is just one. Some of them are in Wayfinders. This is our communications department's newest newsletter. You see them on the website. You see them through Loretta updates and other things. But here's the thing. That's like 4 updates. It's not 11, right? So I would recommend, if you can only stand one newsletter, to choose Wayfinder, because it is trying to, right, as the comms department works with all the other departments of the UUA, it's trying to really center highlights that are really important. But the thing is, it's not going to remind you every year that these are the standard top 3 things you should know. It's going to tell you the new things, right? This is actually part of why we did the State of the Association. It's a thing we've never done before. The hope is that more folks who aren't religious professionals also will hear what the work is and help, right? Help in congregational life, help in community spaces, for us to really benefit from the offerings in the ecosystem. What I want to say is we are working on this. Our comms team, it's like night and day, the differences in how they are communicating, how we are collaborating across staff lines, and the ways we are trying to package information. That's everything from my sermons to the website, to newsletters, to public speaking and offerings in different ways, to be more comprehensible if you don't sit in UUA meetings all day, every day, right? I know this is a thing. It's like I've heard it 53 times, but you've heard it once, right? And I think everybody knows because I heard it 53 times. These are just some of the things that happen in large, complex institutions, and so we're working on it. And I'm really seeing progress, is what I want to say. So I also know that we are exhausted and tired. Like, we're exhausted. How many of you are reading fewer, whatever it is, news, updates? Oh my God, like just so many fewer. So we are going to try to keep streamlining communication in the, no, really, you must know these things, but there won't be 26 things. But also that's hard for us as UUs, right? We like to make it 3 things by putting subcategories under 3 instead of giving it 26. Let me speak for myself. I like to give you an outline so it's 3 things. I promise you we are working on it because we understand how tired everyone is. I see a Tina and then Danielle.
I'm not trying to be shady.
No, you're good.
But kind of dovetailing on what you just said, is anything happening to make the UUA website more useful?
I love you so much. Okay, so the question with a precursor of not trying to be shady was, are we doing anything to try to make the UUA website more useful? Actually, yes. Renee Rahutsky is doing incredible work, and it's thousands and thousands of people. You know what? Here's your executive vice president, Karen McDonald.
And to just let you know, I really do not receive that as shade. I am the person who redid the website last time. And I don't know if you remember the website before that.
Yes, I do.
But that was done in 2014, which is basically 3 lifetimes ago in web design. So it is very much time to do that. And that's, so I think that is front and center as we think about the next set of horizons our comms team really needs to move forward with. So right now we have the Reverend Renee Rahutsky. Folks may know her from doing the UU Institute online work. She's got a new, she shifted positions to be our user experience designer and is basically like cleaning up complicated sections of the website piece by piece. And I don't know if you all know the term user experience, but that's really about just trying to understand, like, what do people do? What do they understand? What do they actually get looking at the website for a minute or two, or a second or two, rather than just what do we want to put out there, right? And so Renee's just been doing really great work piece by piece, making it more visual in some cases, making sure that it's, that we've got information well organized so that the headers are clear, so that we pull down old pages that are confusing, because sometimes there's information that apparently is from 2006 and like, is that still happening? No, it doesn't say. So I think Renee's one big investment in that, but I think that we are due for a kind of wholesale look at the menus and the information that comes through that as well. Because you need both things, right? In modern communication, you need as they call it, the drip content, the push content to you, and then you also need, when I'm going to look for something, can I find the thing that I'm looking for? And I just want to encourage folks to use we have the Leader Lab library, which then uses tags. And that's a more dynamic way to find things than trying to, navigate through our menus and things. So we're trying to use other tools like that to help make it easier to find the material that you're looking for.
Thank you.
It's a great question. Danielle was next.
So my question goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, Sophia, about everything that's changing and all the exciting things that are happening and how everybody is exhausted and we live in this hellhole. And you probably know that I'm kind of a chaplain. And so my chaplain hat is asking you this question. What's going on with the staff? And I don't mean just the vice presidents and you guys, I mean the staff. How are they doing, and how is the leadership helping them struggle through not only all the changes at the UUA, but the hellhole?
It's a great question. Thank you, Danielle. Danielle is like our Uber chaplain and has been for a long time. And she's asking, how is the staff doing? Not just our beloved Carrie McDonald, but actually the staff that's holding all of these things with so many changes at the UUA and other things. I want to say something quick about that, and then I will pass to you, because Carrie really does function as our chief of staff in many ways. Our staff is tired. The pace of change at the UUA is too fast. It just is. And when you add the state of the world on top of that, it's actually quite frightening. Our staff is asking for some very consistent things. They want clear strategic priorities for the coming year and probably 3 years that remain of my presidency. They're asking us really candidly about compensation. And I raise this because partly it holds me accountable when we do this, but also to remind you that without the APF contributions of your congregations, we can't pay our staff in the ways that they deserve to be paid, and we can't resource the resources that you need for the ministry that you do. A large part of the State of the Association is reminding us that actually institutions are not optional and they are not transactional, that the institution of the UUA is actually how we together hold the covenant of this faith and anchor our congregations and our communities to do the work that we're called to do in the world. And so if your congregation is really great and you have everything going on, you have all the money you need, that's awesome. Your job is to support the other congregations that are on their way to being where you are today. It is not, oh, we don't need the UUA. We've benefited from the last 50 years. Now we're cool. See you when we need you again. Okay, and I say, I'm not trying to be evil, but like truly, if we do not hold the institutions of this faith together, they will fall. And I know that our congregations are also, many of them, struggling financially, and we can talk about how the UUA is working on its own 3-year arc to make our finances more sustainable. However, we've got to do it we can't do one type of institution and think the others will still remain when that type of institution continues. Okay, I want to acknowledge, I started by saying the change at the UUA is happening too fast. It is also happening too slow. And this is what's really tough, when actually what you want more than anything is for your staff to thrive and be well. A lot of the systems that we're working on are massive delayed maintenance. Many of them haven't been updated in a decade or more, or they've been updated in ways that are like the first layer, but don't get into the concerns we've been raising for 20 and 30 years, and that is not in any way shade about my predecessors. It's about how incredibly, ridiculously complicated our systems are. Think about a system designed by people who don't trust authority. Or, think about Unitarian Universalism.
But we repeat ourselves.
Well, yes, exactly. And so the metaphor I've been using is you decide, even though you don't want to clean out a closet. I'm guessing that the majority of us have a closet. We just close the door and we try not to look inside too often. So we're opening some of those closet doors, but here's the problem. There are 28 closets inside the one. And you can't actually address the one without also addressing the 28. Oh, and there are 3 other closets that also have 28 closets in them. So part of why change is happening too fast is that if you don't actually work on the intersecting systems, it leaves a system further out of balance, even though some of the elements are better than they were. Does this make sense? And it leaves our constituents at sea. But we are asking our staff to do their jobs, to hold the anxiety of the world, and to do transformation of the UUA at the same time. That's 3 jobs. And the work has to be done. So you will hear from our staff that they are overworked, underpaid, tired, and don't feel entirely clear on how the work is going forward. So I think the work is clearer today than it was 3 years ago when I started in my role, though it's not just about me. And I think it will keep getting clearer as those systems start to be in better alignment with one another. But it's hard in the meantime. We are asking the impossible of our people, and we're doing it because actually we're trying to equip our congregations and communities for impossible times. And so believe it or not, we are pacing ourselves, and what is live is simply too much. I will also tell you that we have some of the most dedicated, faith-filled, I don't know how, resilient, hope-holding staff I've ever had the privilege to work with, all at the same time.
I just want to give a brief overview of some of the ways that we're thinking about this on the staff level, because we talk about the mission and the priorities of our communities and our impact, which is what we are accountable to and for. And our mission is to equip our congregations for vital ministry and to support and train our professionals, lay and train our leaders, both lay and professional, and to advance our values in the world. And then there are also the priorities to make sure that we have an organization that can do those things and carry that out with integrity. So the UUA staff is about 220 people. That includes everything from Beacon Press, our publishers, to the health plan and insurance staff, to your regional staff. We are in over 40 states, plus the District of Columbia. So we really are a digital-first organization. And just last week, actually, we had our first experiment with node gatherings, where we had 10 different gatherings with staff who could get together, at least a handful, 4 or 5. The largest was in Boston, but it was about 25 people, and all over the country, and including an online node. So that's just a little bit about our staff. But in terms of those priorities to help make sure our organization can, in fact, carry out that mission and steward the long arc of this faith, we focus on an equitable workplace. We have an excellent HR department that focuses on people and culture. They're really good and have just been fully staffed. We have UUA staff chaplains, which Sophia made sure that we had. We're now in our
my first request.
Our 3rd year, I think, going in 2nd year, 3rd. And it's been so helpful to have that spiritual support available to our staff. And yes, compensation and keeping up with it, because we redid our whole grade system a few years ago, but now it needs to be updated, right? At the same time that we are losing staff intentionally. We did a retirement incentive program. It was optional, but a number of folks took it last year because the second piece is that we need to be financially sustainable and a safe organization to be in. And that foundation means we have been running a deficit at the UUA. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm happy to talk to you more about it. But the point is we are raising our income and we are lowering our expenses, which is how you close that on an intentional 3-year path, not like a cliff. And that has meant we have had to pull back on our staff footprint, and we're trying to do that in the most equitable way possible. But it does mean that there's less people to do the same work, and so work has to change, and you can't change the staffing without changing the expectations too. There's a lot of safety and security things too in terms of our IT and targeting that we also talk about, that we talk with you about increasingly. The third piece I just want to note is the strategic alignment, the transparency, the metrics, the data of how do we know what we're doing is the right thing and that it's having the impact that we need. When I joined the UUA staff 15 years ago, almost, to me it felt like a series of co-located nonprofits that share an IT department. It's a great IT department. And it feels very different now, but it is still true that teams operate in very different styles, paces, they use different platforms and systems, and so we don't know what each other is always doing. It's hard to understand how work fits together. So we are bringing common platforms to understand our work commitments, our metrics, our goals, how we plan for the work that we do so that everybody knows what they're responsible and accountable for, what they're authorized and empowered to do, and how we're going to circle back and make sure that's happening at the end of the day. So those are 3 big things we're working on right now.
Thanks for the question, Danielle. I want to take a question from online. And please, beloveds, and I'm sorry I didn't say this earlier, feel free to use the chat. Chloe's been helpful. I, of course...
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I just say one other thing in the chat?
Yes.
I'm sorry. About our workplace. Which I want you all to know that there is a UUA staff retreat for UUA staff of color. In part because we knew that we were creating pressure on the attendance at this gathering, and we really wanted to make sure that folks serving in the parish context or the community context had access to this space. There is a entirely separate event that the 50 UUA staff of color are invited to that is just focused on our needs as the staff. So I just wanted to let you know that exists.
Thank you. And also it is many of the same people who create this space for us who create that space for staff. So just bless y'all. Thank you, Don. Thank you. Michael, thank you. Summer, thank you. I'm not going to be able to say everyone off the top of my head, but seriously, the people who are attending to our survival and well-being do it consistently, beautifully, tiredly, I'm sure, and we're grateful. So again, please, if you are with us online, please feel free to use the chat if you have questions. LaTanya Richardson, another beloved member of our staff who organizes so many good things so GA is even possible, y'all, not just GA, but that is a really big one. She is asking what the temperature in the room is about attending GA this year. I, of course, don't know, so I'm going to ask you, before we say anything else, who's planning on participating, whether on-site at a satellite or virtually online in General Assembly this year? Más o menos is also fine? Okay.
2/3, 3/4.
Yeah, it's about 3/4 of the room. Can I ask you if you're online to just roll a yes, I'm thinking about it, a no? I want to say that I know that the format of GA this year being different is still confusing to a lot of people. I think it's going to be confusing until we've done it. And here's my other promise to you. You're not going to be able to stand some of it. And it's good news. I'm not trying to be obnoxious. We haven't massively changed the format of GA in a very long time, right? I know all virtual is, of course, a huge change, but all virtual still smells a lot like a multi-platform GA, doesn't it? Yeah. It's like we started to streamline and then people were like, but we can't not have this. My God, we can't not have this. What do you mean we're not doing this? And it crowded into basically doing all of General Assembly at home on our individual devices. Does that resonate? Yeah. Okay, so this year's format, having an all-virtual business meeting first, the beginning of the week, having a few days where some of us are doing things virtually, I believe, almost all, with our professional groups, and then having a still all virtual, but with resources and opportunities to gather with UUs during that time, program section of GA at the end of General Assembly. This can be anything from being on site at the studio site in Louisville. Y'all, that is not an in-person GA equivalent. It is, do you want to be in the room while the content that is still all virtual is being generated? Does that difference make sense? Yeah. Like imagine you're on a game show, Pat Barker's still doing his thing, and you in the studio audience. That's what, yes, I just totally dated myself. That is what that means. Yeah, right? If you don't believe I'm 50, really am. Okay, so here's the thing.
And the music will be,
And the music, because you know what we heard from you? Whether you voted with your feet or with a feedback form, was that the all virtual did not replace the level of what we expected at General Assembly. Having a studio site, so our musicians are all in one place with a production team, our worship leaders are in one place with a production team, will make what you receive, whether you're in a pod, sitting in a congregation and watching all together, or you're in a small group at a retreat center, or your home, in your living room, or whatever it is, so much better. So that the things we are trying this year, please don't start rumors that we've completely changed GA forever and this is GA forever. This is an experimental year. When you're pissed about something, please write it down. Help us. I'm not, I'm being silly, but also really quite serious. If we don't try things that we don't recognize, it's just going to be more and more attrition when we do all virtual GA. And the benefits of all virtual GA are financial. They are all about equity and inclusivity and who can participate, right? They are environmental. There are so many things. Help us make GA better by participating in a year where you're not quite sure what's coming. Is that a fair ask? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Ali.
Do you just want me to talk?
I will repeat it, or you
Awesome.
can come use the mic.
Okay, so there are a very, very, very small amount of us who, when GA moved to virtual and then not virtual, we were also the people who went to seminary in COVID, and then we got put in the cycle, virtual or not virtual. So all of our accomplishments related to the service of living tradition somehow fall into the cycle, most likely of virtual, and that is harmful.
Yes. Absolutely. So Ali is reminding us that those beloveds who, can we say bravely, did their seminary training and other training, right? Credentialing for religious education and other things, leadership credentialing for musicians, in virtual ways during quarantine, often end up in the every other year, not permanent decision, but habitual at this point, cycle of an all virtual GA. And so to have your accomplishments celebrated virtually, when you went to school virtually, when you did your preparation virtually, is causing harm. We have heard you loud and clear. So here is what we are doing. You will notice there is no service of the living tradition this year. There's also no synergy this year, because I'm going to add our youth who do not want more, for the most part, online work, and are excited about synergy when we can be multi-platform. Madi is looking at me. Am I wrong about this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm wrong about this. Hold, and we'll get an update from staff who know better than I do. Yeah? Okay. Sorry. Service of the living tradition is not happening this year. We have been listening to our religious professionals, and here's what we're doing. For accomplishments, everything from preliminary fellowship to different credentialing levels to retirement, we're doing every other year. So people can still choose to participate virtually or participate on site. I should say we are doing in multi-platform years. Let me not decide that because we haven't, the board hasn't decided fully what the future of GA's piece is going forward. However, death, we are acknowledging every year. So our beloveds who have passed will be celebrated this year in one of the worship services, but everybody who is, what we used to call crossing the stage, but being recognized for their professional accomplishments will be in the years when they and their families, should they choose, can be with a couple thousand UUs in a hall. Yeah, and I know this is, and also if you hear people wondering about this, please tell this story. This is really from the feedback of the people we are celebrating, which is different maybe than the lived experiences of people who just like the SLT. And so we're choosing to prioritize the folks being celebrated. But that doesn't mean that you in the pews necessarily understand why we're doing this. So can you help us just share that information?
It's going to be a big ass SLT in 2027.
Sure is, in San Jose. Please join us if you can. Can I ask who knows better than me about synergy now? Do you want to? come, thank you. Y'all, I just don't remember all the things.
Synergy, we will have a recording, so there's not a time slot for it, but we will have a recording. We're also trying to decouple bridging from Synergy, because youth have something to say. Youth have a worship that is more than we're becoming adults. So that is a shift, and we're also we'll have that recording, and we also want to recognize that bridging happens in our communities, in our congregations, right, where we have those connections with our young people. Oh, yes, I'm Nal Bethay, and I'm the co-director of Lifespan Faith Engagement.
Thank you. So, I mean, just these two examples are good examples of like really trying to listen to our stakeholders, run it through the system of what we have to do to get our business done, but to shift our methods to better meet all of those things together. And again, it's not going to be perfect in year one. Please don't just participate. Please also send us feedback, because this will continue to evolve. We have just a few minutes. Chloe, can I ask, since I still have we have no questions online? Great, thank you. Anything else in the room?
Let's give it up for our president, y'all.
I want to say also, this community feeds me, checks on me, sends me prayers and poems. This is not if you do not do these things, that is fine. I am good. But I want to say, I feel held in the container of love of this community. I could not do my ministry without you. Thank you for your love and support. Even when you disagree with me, like y'all will come and tell me real things and be like, I love you, we're going to get through this together, I love you. Thank you for humanizing this role for me. I love you all so much. Thank you for this time.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, it is just about lunchtime, and we have a few just announcements, nothing major. So please, the first is please check the virtual program. If you need a physical program, do let us know, by the way. Welcome to those of you who arrived late last night. Where are my manners? Welcome, 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 welcome. You have arrived, so do not feel like while you were not here for our opening, we recorded it, so if there's something that you feel like you may have missed, please access it via the program. But also, we just chilled because you weren't here. You know, we're just gonna be like, well, not because you weren't here, but since you weren't here, we chilled so that we could wait for you to arrive. And so, yeah, so welcome. I hope that you are finding everything that you need. Please approach any of us on the planning team or anyone who is here. If this is your first finding our way home and you got here, quote unquote, after we began, we're not gonna call it late, you know, after the official time to begin, please know that you are celebrated, and we're excited to have you. We are having a newcomers orientation after lunch at 1 p.m. in this space. So if this is your first finding our way home, we do ask that you be here if you have the capacity. We also ask anyone who's been here many times to be in that space, as we, kind of like give a little, give some experience, share some experience of the time. There are a few of the events in Afternoon Joy that are not happening. I think just one actually, and it is Circle Songs, which is annually led by Francisco. So you will have to join us next year for that space. It's something that we love, and there's the space for that will be used for meditation and movement. So that's Assembly 2, which is downstairs on the ground floor. It's a little difficult to find, but if you ask the front desk, they'll direct you to it. It's basically past the front desk if you go down the stairs. And I think that's it. We have, oh, great. This is open mic, really, for announcements and such. We don't have a lot of program space for this and for that, but we know a lot of you are doing amazing, amazing work. And our community times, which are before dinner tonight and tomorrow night, is basically space to self-organize. So please, if you want to invite people to learn about X or share something about Y with a group of folks, ask us for a space and then advertise that space in the WhatsApp group that 95 of you have joined. Yeah. So super excited about that. And as we're just hanging out, feel free to come up and say, hey, so-and-so, or this is happening. But otherwise, just so grateful you're here, and I'll invite Carrie.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we do introduce the UUA staff who are here and make sure that you know who folks are. So I introduced myself earlier. I'm Carrie McDonald. I'm Executive Vice President. But let's see, who do we have? I want to do in the room and online. So we have Reverend, well, you all know Michael. I see Reverend J. Karen Bell here as co-director of our New Communities Fund. Just joined our staff. Great to have you. Reverend Summer Albayati with the Pacific Western Region staff. We have the amazing Don Robinson, Executive Administrator in Ministries and Faith Development. Let's see. Oh, Sarah, thank you. Reverend Derek Jackson, Ministerial Credentialing Director. I don't know what your title is.
Special Projects Administrator on the Organizing Strategy.
Special Projects Administrator. Let's see, I do want to make sure we also say we have our co-moderator of the UUA Board of Trustees.
Yeah.
I've got Reverend Tyler Coles, our transition lead in the Central East region. Let's see, we've got Nicole Presley, our Organizing Strategy Director. Reverend Marisol Caballero, Faith Innovation Specialist. Adult Faith Formation Specialist in our Lifespan Faith Engagement team. We've got, let's see, there's, PK, our Interim Ministries Director on the transition team.
That's the work I do, that's how I have it.
Oh, okay, what is your title, PK? Transformational Interim Ministries Director, okay, got it, thank you. Now, but they who just introduced themselves, Shannon Harper, who is our other co-director. Is Shannon in the room? Shannon was here just a minute ago. Shannon's on the planning team, as is Amy Zen, our transitions administrator, who is also here. Did I miss anybody in the room? Kimmy, Reverend Kimmy Floyd Rice, who's on our planning team and is in our LGBTQ and multicultural ministries staff team, our events and programs coordinator. So who else do we have online? Is someone able to tell me who we have online? Latanya Richardson, who is our director of GA and conference services. Really, Latanya makes GA happen in a way that I think you all need to fully understand. Anybody else online? Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure that you know who is in the room. There are many more of us who often come to these things, and not everybody could be here today. But please feel free to reach out to any of us if you'd like to chat while we're here. Thank you. And also, Summer, were you trying to talk about the picture? Were you trying to get an announcement?
Thank you.
Yes, so at 5 o'clock sharp, we will meet in front of the fireplace to organize our annual group photo. So please, at 5, be there for that. Immediately after that, we'll be doing CVS runs with our passenger vans, and so soon after that, you'll just meet in the lobby, and we will do routes to folks who need to pick up items from CVS. And I think that's, and one more thing,
This is primarily for the folks who are leading programming this afternoon. So Jay and Yuri and Shannon, please make sure before your time starts that you go to the room and make sure that it's set up the way you want it to be set up, because I know that we didn't have a chance to confirm that before today. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And before we depart, we just have a few community announcements. So just come in the queue and make your announcement.
Yeah. That might work. That works.
I'm Reverend Kiyama Rahman, and I was asked to bring greetings from two individuals. Leon Spencer wasn't able to make it, and a voice from the past, Mel Hoover.
Yeah!
Greetings.
Hi, everyone. Hi. My name's Kevin, and we're doing a short skit for drum. Oh, hey, Tommy. I'm telling you, organizing these quarterly Drum California retreats has been amazing, but I really need a national UU BIPOC conference for both professional and lay leaders, like something with substance, with depth, connection, and real transformation. Like, is there some kind of magical place with workshops and skill building and even a keynote speaker that makes me rethink my entire life trajectory?
No conference. Oh, sorry. Sorry. You know what? That's great and all, but I need a place where I can nap without someone judging me. Preferably outdoors, maybe somewhere with massive water fountains and rose gardens in the distance. Somewhere safe and surrounded by friendly people.
Tommy, where are we gonna find a nationwide UU BIPOC retreat that has both deep spiritual professional growth, community building, collective joy, and resistance? Where are we gonna find that?
No conference has that range. I don't know who has that range. Maybe Beyonce. Beyonce has that range.
Well, I don't think Beyonce is gonna host a UU conference for people of color. Can she?
Not yet.
Well, I've got some great news for both of you. Y'all, I was just recruited. You two are in luck. All the things you want, Drum Village beloved gathering has them.
Intermission.
We have increased our text size on our screens. Okay, you're telling me that it has all this and relaxation?
Relaxation, restoration, reflection. Basically all the R words except refund. Because you're not gonna want one.
Wait, what about professional development? I mean, I need workshops that can make me feel like a transformed visionary leader. Are y'all gonna have that?
So many wonderful programs.
Do they have space to rest without judgment? Because rest is resistance.
So you're telling us that we can learn, we can grow, restore, connect, and cultivate joy all in one magical place?
Exactly. It's designed for you people of color to be nourished, uplifted, and renewed. It's like a spiritual smoothie. Professional development blended with relaxation. No weird aftertaste.
That's a lot.
I do love smoothies.
I love conferences that have everything.
So, we're going?
Oh, we're going.
Where?
Right.
I'll see you both at Drum Village Beloved Gathering this September in Kansas City, Missouri. Registration opens in April.
Okay, thank you for your participation. So yes, we're having our gathering September 17th through 20th in Kansas City, Missouri, not the other one. But we do know that events over the past couple of years, and definitely in the past month and week, do bring concern about Kansas City as a site. So, you know, we want to hear from people about how we can help with that. One of the things we've thought of is just showing up. We will show up at the airport. There will be like a buddy assigned to anybody that like has like strong concerns about that. I know it doesn't feel like the safest place, especially for trans and gender non-conforming folks. So we will have like people, like we will be there from the moment you land and travel with you. That's one thing we can do. Hopefully there's more we can do. I wish we could change the site at this point. You know, it's been sort of a concern. But anyway, just want to acknowledge that. In terms of logistics, so we have the date. We'll be rolling out several more announcements over the next month. Registration will be live in mid-April. We do have a table upstairs near the registration table here with a little bit more information, and you can always email info@drum in general with questions.
September 17th, Thursday to Sunday, September 20th, Kansas City. It's like a 3-hour flight from each coast, so it's kind of right in the middle. We've already checked out. It's a beautiful location at the site of Unity Village in Kansas City. Gorgeous fountains, you know, roses. It's really, really retreat. So we hope you'll tell your congregants. We hope you'll be there. There hasn't been a Drum National Conference in like, I think 15 years. So it's been a really, really long time since a Drum National Conference. So we're excited to have the family gather this September.
I was just going to mention that at the drum table that's next to the registration table, there are posters, there are flyers to be able to take back to your congregations. So please stop by and pick some up to take with you.
Thank you.
And for anybody who does not know what Drum is, because I know there's somebody. So Drum, Diverse Revolutionary UU Multicultural Ministries, is a lay ministry. It's for everybody. So we have been around for 25-ish years. I'll do the math later. And we host events online throughout the year. We also support regional gatherings. So Kevin, one of our shining stars in California. So we like people to be able to support folks to gather in person. We have chaplains.
Yes, and when we are not having fun gathering for the first time in forever, we also have an amazing team of chaplains that are available year-round for lay leaders, for professional religious educators, so that you know that you are supported and heard by your people. So you can reach us through our website, and one of us will get back to you within 24 hours. And so please know that that is available not just for the conference, but for always.
So thank you for your time. We want you to know about Drum. We want you to share about Drum. Tell people you know. There's always somebody in your congregation, they've been there 10 years, who hasn't heard about it. And so we want everyone who would want something like this, you know, for healing, for sharing, for growth, for community, to know about it. We want you to know about it, we want you to share about it, and we want you to be about it by joining us at one of our events and by talking to Michelle, who is with our nominations committee.
Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Rep. Kev. Michelle Venegas Matula, I use she and a pronouns. I serve on the steering committee and the secretary for now, because I also chair the nominating committee. Isaac Castro is also on our nominating committee. We also have Reverend Sana Saeed and Karen Lynn, who we are looking for leadership.
We have a couple of roles to fill. So if you are interested in helping to continue this beautiful ministry that so many times has been one of the saving graces for youism, no shade, but sometimes as BIPOC folks, being in a congregation, when you are the only one, it is very lonely. And Drum helps to fill a little bit of that and bring you into community and help you to continue in this beautiful faith tradition that we all love. So if you are interested, please come and talk to me or Isaac. I think we're also going to try and do a breakfast one morning. If that's easier to come by and come and talk to us, we'll put it in the chat at some point. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. It is always a privilege to work with you all and do what you do. You are indeed helping people and supporting folks. I think those are our announcements. Please connect with Afternoon Joy. Many spaces. The sun is out. It's chilly, but the sun is out. So please, relax, enjoy one another, get to know someone you've never seen or met before, and have a lovely day. Please grab any of us running around to support you. And see you at 5 by the fireplace for the picture. For the ussy. Yes, I'm sorry, yes. And there is a seminarian luncheon. So if you are a seminarian, please connect with Sophia or Derek at the space that they have designated at the tables they're at in the cafeteria. Lunch is at 12, from 12 to 1.
Just sign up for anything tomorrow.